I am J. Mark Manuel from 1BSA-2 and these are my requirements for Intermediate Accounting 1 and Conceptual Framework and Accounting Standards. Intermediate Accounting 1 Chapter Summary Chapter 1 Cash and Cash Equivalents. Chapter 2 Bank Reconciliation. Chapter 3 Proof of Cash. Chapter 4 Accounts Receivable. Chapter 5 Estimation of Doubtful Accounts. Chapter 6 Notes Receivable. Chapter 7 Loan Receivable. Chapter 8 Receivable Financing, Pledge, Assignment, and Factoring. Chapter 9 Receivable Financing, Discounting of Note Receivable. Chapter 10 Inventories. Chapter 11 Inventory Cost Flow. Chapter 12 Lower of Cost and Net Realizable Value. Chapter 13 Gross Profit Method. Chapter 14 Retail Inventory Method. Chapter 15 Financial Asset at Fair Value. Chapter 16 Equity Investment, Dividends, Share Split, and Share Right. Chapter 17 Investment in Associate, Basic Principle. Chapter 18 Investment in Associate, Other Accounting Issues. Chapter 19 Financial Asset at Amortized Cost, Bond Investment. Chapter 20 Effective Interest Method, Amortized Cost, FVOCI, and FVPL. Chapter 21 Reclassification of Financial Asset. Chapter 22 Investment Property. Chapter 23 Property, Plant, and Equipment. Chapter 24 Government Grant. Chapter 25 Borrowing Cost. Chapter 26 Land, Building, and Machinery. Chapter 27 Depreciation. Chapter 28 Depletion. Chapter 29 Revaluation. Chapter 30 Impairment of Asset. Chapter 31 Intangible Assets. Chapter 32 in Identifiable Intangible Assets. Chapter 33 Research and Development Costs. Intermediate Accounting 1 Solution Manual. Chapter 1 Chapter 2. Chapter 3. Chapter 4. Chapter 5. Chapter 6. Chapter 7. Chapter 8. Chapter 9. Chapter 10. Chapter 11. Chapter 12. Chapter 13. Chapter 14. Chapter 15. Chapter 16. Chapter 17. Chapter 18. Chapter 19. Chapter 20. Chapter 21. Chapter 22. Chapter 23. Chapter 24. Chapter 25. Chapter 26. Chapter 27. Chapter 28. Chapter 29. Chapter 30. Chapter 31. Chapter 32. Chapter 33. Conceptual Framework and Accounting Standards. Chapter Summary. Chapter 1. The Accountancy Profession. Chapter 2. Conceptual Framework Objective of Financial Reporting. Chapter 3. Conceptual Framework. Chapter 4. Conceptual Framework, Financial Statements and Reporting Entity, Underlying Assumption. Chapter 5. Conceptual Framework, Elements of Financial Statements. Chapter 6. Conceptual Framework, Recognition and Measurement. Chapter 7. Conceptual Framework, Presentation and Disclosure, Concepts of Capital. Chapter 8. Presentation of Financial Statements, Statement of Financial Position, CFAS1. Chapter 9. Presentation of Financial Statements, Statement of Comprehensive Income, PAS1. Chapter 10. Statement of Cash Flows, PAS7. Chapter 11. Accounting Policies, Estimate and Errors, PAS8. Chapter 12. Event of After the Reporting Period, PAS10. Chapter 13. Related Party Disclosures, PAS24. Chapter 14. Inventories, PAS2. Chapter 15. Property, Plant and Equipment, PAS16. PAS16. Government Grant, PAS20. Chapter 17. Borrowing Cost, PAS23. Chapter 18. Investment in Associates, PAS28. Chapter 19. Impairment Loss, PAS36. PAS or Chapter 20. Intangible Assets, PAS38. Chapter 21. Investment Property, PAS40. Chapter 22. Agriculture, Biological Assets and Agricultural Procedure, PAS41. Chapter 23. Provision, Contingent Liability and Asset, PAS37. Chapter 24, Financial Instruments, Presentation, past 22. Chapter 25, Income Taxes, past 12. Chapter 26, Employee Benefits, past 19. Past 27, Earnings per share, past 33. Chapter 28, Interim Financial Reporting, past 34. Chapter 29, Reporting in Hyperinflationary Economy, past 29. Chapter 30, First Time Adaptation of PFRS 1. Chapter 31, Share-Based Payment, PFRS 2. Chapter 32, Non-Current Asset Held for Sale, PFRS 5. Chapter 33, Discounted Operation, PFRS 5. Chapter 34, Exploration and Evaluation of Mineral Resources, PFRS 6. Chapter 35, Operating Segments, PFRS 8. Chapter 36, Financial Instruments, Measurement of Financial Asset, PFRS 9. Chapter 37, Fair Value Measurement, PFRS 13. Chapter 38, Revenue from Contracts with Customers, PFRS 15. Chapter 39, Leases, PFRS 16. Chapter 40, Infreq Interpretations. Conceptual Framework and Accounting Standards, Solution Manual. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, Chapter 8, Chapter 9, Chapter 10, Chapter 11, Chapter 12, Chapter 13, Chapter 14, Chapter 15, Chapter 16, Chapter 17, Chapter 18, Chapter 19. Chapter 20. Chapter 21. Chapter 22. Chapter 23. Chapter 24. Chapter 25. Chapter 26. Chapter 27. Chapter 28. Chapter 29. Chapter 30. Chapter 31. Chapter 32. Chapter 33. Chapter 34. Chapter 35. Chapter 36. Chapter 37. Chapter 38. Chapter 39. Chapter 40.